Okay, there we are. So welcome to the Crystal Healers course. I'm excited to do this with you. Every time I do the course, I use different gemstones. So I like to change it up a bit, and you should have your kits with you. And tonight we are going to be covering all kinds of stuff. So one of the reasons why you've been drawn to this course is most likely because you're a healer. And you probably have a connection to stones and to nature. So that spiritual aspect, I believe, is a calling. So I believe that all of you who are drawn to take this class are natural healers. And what I want to do is get you connected to crystal healing on many different levels. So by the end of this course, you're going to be able to perform full crystal healings. And you can do that for yourself as well as others. And so I'm excited. Here we go. I think we'll have one or two more, okay? Yet. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I always get nervous when there's new people on. So welcome to the Crystal Healers course. We're still waiting for a couple more, but we're going to get started. So this course, as I was just saying, is, I believe, each one of you are natural healers. And I cannot wait to share with you the information on how to do these healings, how to connect with the crystals, but as well as develop yourself as healers and as channels, okay? So the information in this course is considered to be connected to the mineral kingdom. And this type of healing is considered to be hands-on. The things that you're going to be learning in this workshop, you're going to learn about geological research has been done. You're going to learn about folklore, experimentation, channeled information, and I also blend a little bit of my cultural background and own spiritual things that I've experienced with these certain crystals. Going into this, I want you to take a look at the colors and the structures within the crystals that we're talking about. We use natural minerals. So the stones and gemstones we use are naturally occurring. And it's really important that you take note on the gemstones that you do bring into your crystal healing, because you will be adding to this collection. And many of you already have crystals that you're going to be adding what you already have to your healing as well. So this is just the start. It's going to get you going, and you can expand from there. And there's so many different ways to do the healings. So I want you to understand that using natural crystals are always traditional. Okay, be careful with the new formations that people are growing in labs. I would not let someone put some lab-grown crystal in my third eye. It's just scary to me, okay? However, moldavite is awesome, and moldavite is a stone from space. So we're continuing a journey where we are going into the energies of the mineral kingdom. And this is where you will get to learn how to harvest the benefits of the stones. While we're working with the stones, you will automatically become receptive to the wisdom that comes within. And you will also be able to hopefully connect the energies of the stones and bring them into your life to enjoy. Stones can have a physical form in our life. They can affect us emotionally, physically, We use it in magic. So you're going to learn all kinds of things, especially the power of the earth. And I feel that your connection to it and your respect for it by your experiences with all of these crystals are going to really bring out some natural gifts that have been wanting to come out. So my goal is to take you onto an intimate journey where you will be able to actually feel the subtle realms of crystal energy. And crystals have been used since the dawning of civilization. Even the Bible refers to crystals over 200 times. So the spirituality within the crystalline city, there were walls that were made of crystals. There was gates that were pearl. There were streets that had no dust but gold dust. So crystal power has been involved and praised upon in every culture around the world. Okay. And I could go into all kinds of stuff. Many priests would wear them in their breastplates. So crystals have always looked at as medicine. Now, I am part Native, so I'm part Ojibwa, and we believe that, you know, the stones are medicine. And think about the times before medication. We used stones, we used plants. And so I want you to look at yourselves as practitioners and healers, but also caretakers and channelers of these stones that you're going to be working with. Crystals exhibit properties, and these properties are both pronounced. There is piezoelectricity. I just have to go like this. Get my wording right. But there is piezoelectricity, which is when we activate the crystals by compression. And many early civilizations of the earth, so I'm talking the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Native Americans, the Celtic tribes, African, Asian, every culture, used quartz crystals in ceremonies. And what they used to do is they would strike the crystals together and see if it would produce a flash of light. And the compression produced this released electrons. And so the release of compression of the crystal was actually looked upon as a vibration and was known to be very high energy. So they would use that to find people who had special gifts. They would say, hold these crystals, and they'd hold them together, and they would produce this mechanical energy, this vibration. So it's pretty interesting that they would look for that. Okay, so crystals, each crystal has its own vibration. And there's also pyroelectric properties that happens when we work with crystals and gemstones. And this is when we create an electrified state of, or a polarity, okay? So we can actually produce changes within the variation of temperatures. So I want to start with that while I'm talking. So you have your gemstone kits around you. And what I want you to do is look for the smoky quartz. So it's kind of, whoops, I'm dropping my stuff. So the smoky quartz and a clear quartz. And they're gonna look like the bigger ones in your kit. And you actually have 2 quartz crystals. All right, I put mine in a bowl. You have 2 quartz crystals, but you want to find one that you can hold. And I want you to hold the dark, round, smoky quartz in your left hand. And I want you to put the clear quartz crystal into your right hand, and just hold them in your palms while I'm talking. Okay, Actually, let's do the pyroelectric. I'm gonna do that first because we were just talking about that. So take your smoky quartz and go like this. And just rub your stone. And you want to make sure that you feel warm. So when we do this to a crystal, we are creating a pyroelectric energy. And what we're doing is we're heightening its state. So now this crystal is going to go into the highest vibration that it can. So once you feel a little warmth and that crystal is heated, you can stop and put it in your left hand. And that's the smoky quartz, right? So if you put it in your left hand, you can see that I'm just holding it gently, right? And I'm just gonna focus on what it feels like now. Some of you might be able to feel a little bit of movement.
Heartbeat.
Yeah. So that is now at a heightened state. And it will naturally ground to the vibration of its normal, authentic state. Okay? So it's very important that you go through your gemstones and rub them like this. This is going to give you the energy that you need. Okay? The pyroelectric state activates expansion of the energy within the crystal. So when it's heated, it will naturally go back to a cooled state. And the energy that goes into that, or radiates from that structure, goes into our auric body, or it goes into what we're using the crystal for. Okay. In some cultures, they would heat certain stones, like say they heated tourmaline. It's a black raw stone, and that was known that they would heat it into the embers of the fire. And then they would see if it would attract ashes. So some of these stones, when we put our pyroelectric energy into it, it will attract ashes of like incense, or it can even repel it. So you may find that some of these will become almost magnetic. Some other crystals and gemstones that it will attract could be bits of paper, feathers. So if your stones are there and all of a sudden there's a feather around it, that's huge. That's a phenomenon that happened because of the energy of that crystal drawing in what it wants as well. So the energy is held in this electrical current for several hours. And actually, when we use quartz crystal will hold energy. Okay? It's known as a record keeper. Whatever we put into the crystal, our thoughts, our dreams, it will hold those electrons, and it will attract the energies of the universe that we want. And that's actually why they use it in quartz watches. So if you have a watch and it says quartz, there's a piece of this crystal that they zapped with an electrode to help it keep that watch, to help keep that time in the watch going. It's pretty interesting. I love that. Let me see. To see that there is two people having trouble. I want to make sure. I know technical difficulties. Okay, so the other thing is that the energies of the mineral kingdom are known as universal energies, okay? These stones and crystals all have a nature spirit. And I see you holding that crystal up to your light. I love that you're doing that. And I don't know if you the rest of you can see that, but I want you to do this with your crystals that are clear. And if you hold a light, you hold them to a light and put a paper behind it, you might be able to see the face of the nature spirit. We do that in the fairy magic class, and it is so amazing. Sometimes you can see like a winged spirit in there, a Buddha. So looking at the inclusions, you will sometimes see energies. And these crystals are thousands of years old. So whatever's been around it is connected. And that's one thing that we like to use in magic. We know that these are universal energies that are always pure. They can never go negative and turn into a bitch. So when we use the crystal and when we put our will and our intention, the crystal will receive the energy. It won't receive negative energy because it's positive, and it begins to use its personal creativity and exercises its natural power and our higher will, or the higher will of the crystal. So that is why we can actually tap into the powers of the crystals and gemstones, and that's why they're very powerful. So I want to go into a little bit of that too. So they're powerful because they can be used through our higher self. They're connected to our higher self automatically because they're pure, and our higher self is always pure. And so those natural vibrations is where true power is. You know, the thing is what I love about this class is that it teaches us about nature and the powers of nature, and we are each a power of nature. So we can connect with our higher self, our psychic self, and even any higher spirit energies that we want to connect to. And that's why it's been used in different religions and cultures. So crystals and gemstones also have their own higher self. They have a power, and the power that it absorbed while it was here on Earth, but also the power of the vibration it holds. And so each mineral structure is actually activated and directed by an integration of anything that comes to contact with it. And so when we use right intentions during the use of holding a crystal, that crystal will further stimulate the personal energy of the person that's connecting to it and to the stone. So it's a propagation of energy, or a propagation of light, or healing and love. It's a propagation of good. Now, we all have infinite power of the universe, and that is within ourselves. And we tend to find it easier to accept the support from things that are outside of ourselves. But each crystal and gemstone structure has its own individual energy, and that individual energy is what we're going to be using in our healings. And so I look at those energies that the crystal holds as their personality. So when we go into what these crystals do, try to hold it in your mind like it's a personality. It has an emotion, there's a knowledge, it has a purpose. So minerals contain more than, and also minerals that contain more than one mineral will possess a melding of properties. So that means there's both properties of the two different types of stone, and then the two blended together, okay, will also create a third. So I find that you will find this class amazing. Now, the consciousness of the planet, and you can keep charge up all your crystals as I'm talking, but the consciousness of the planet is leading humanity into rediscovering of ancient and forgotten healing art forms. I truly believe that. And so a lot of these healings that are coming out, you look at crystal healings, you look at Reiki, you look at you know, all of these things that are now starting to re-emerge. Crystal healings is definitely one of them. Okay. And in my culture, in my reservation, everybody still uses the power of the stones. We're actually not allowed to dance in the powwow if we're on medication. Because I'm known as a herbal healer in my tribe, I'm not supposed to be on medication. So we really believe in the power of herbs and gemstones. And I believe in it, and that's why I like to offer this class. So we are a person that holds the power to get rid of disease. And that is anything that is unnatural. And the disorders that we have in life usually entail some kind of energy or lesson. And sometimes those lessons have to be a release. And the crystals and gemstones allow us to release the burdens that we carry unconsciously or consciously. So although we must ultimately heal ourselves, we're the only ones that can heal ourselves, we can experience disconnection and loss of a natural energy that we need. So when we tap into the awareness of universal sourced energies, just like gemstones and crystals, the automatic energy is a source of perfection. It's the cycle of perfection. And perfection meaning the natural state, like the pure natural state without that disease. Okay? And that's one reason why they're used, because it assists one in becoming reunited with the energy that is considered to be the source, the universal energy. So to get in touch with the energies within the crystals or gemstones, you always want to honor which one you pick or which one that appeals to you. And make sure that it fits in your hand nicely. And you always want to place it in your left hand first. So let's pick, okay, so you did pick a stone. Which one should I pick? Even though I'll probably go through all of them. So I was just holding that quartz crystal. That felt so good. Get one that rubs good. We're going to go, angel light blue. So you want to pick a stone that appeals to you. Make sure it fits nice. Always hold it in your left hand. I rub it. Now you don't have to rub it like this every time. Okay? When I do healings for people, I will charge the crystals, and I'll teach you how to do that as well. But if you did a crystal healing on someone else and you want to use the crystals for yourself, I would definitely rub it. Okay. So you want to get to know the crystals, each one of those. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't label them. Because I really want you to try to experience what you receive and experience with the crystals before you really know what they do. Even though I'm going to give you some to practice with and know what they do before we go. So there will be some that you'll know and some that you won't until next class. So always first feel the stone in your left hand and relax. And as soon as I even go like this, just so I can feel the weight of the stone. And when I feel it and relax, I just breathe. Now, when you breathe through your mouth, you're open. So breathe through your mouth and focus on the stone in your palm. Really pay attention to the way it feels, the temperature. And if you can pay attention to the temperature, you will all of a sudden feel a vibration. Now, if you feel the vibration, put yes in the chat or nod your head so I know.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. So when you feel the vibration, most people would be like, you're crazy. What do you mean you're feeling a vibration in a stone? I've had people say that to me. But you can feel that, right? I'm not nuts. So that vibration, when we actually feel the stone in our left hand, and you feel that vibration, you're actually feeling the life force. That is its heartbeat. That is its vibration. The stone is alive. And actually, if you close your eyes and feel the stone for a few minutes, close your eyes and feel it. Let yourself explore it with your mind. Almost like you could see if you could squeeze it. But you may even be able to notice more. Its texture, maybe its hardness. Now squeeze it lightly. So when we connect with that vibration and we squeeze it lightly, you'll see medicine men and medicine women go like this, where they squeeze it and then they put it up by their ear. Then they pay attention to the first thing that pops into their mind, and that is a message of the stone. And I heard this one say love. But you might see something. And sometimes I even pay attention to my third eye, because each one of these stones will actually have an effect on your third eye. And that's one reason why looking at your closed eyelids is good when you're working with stones. Just feel it and close your eyes for a minute, because you will always see some type of different vibration. So take note on what it looks like with your eyes closed, the back of your eyelids, and then when we do the next stone, you'll notice it looks different. So if you can feel a vibration in the left hand, it is allowing you to use its medicine. And we can actually use that same thing when we want to, pick an apple from the tree. We can ask it, will it be good medicine for me? Can I have this apple? And connect to trees. The true heartbeat of the life force is felt with the left hand, with things of nature. So we can let the stone speak to us, and I want you to have a personal experience with each one, because they will come in handy in different areas of your life. But what you're feeling is vibration. And that that vibration is actually the essence of all magic. The vibrations will come from within the rock itself, and you can feel it in your hand. A light pounding or a little vibration. You can feel it in your fingers, in your thumb. Now put it in your right hand, that same stone. Wow, it was so warm in my left hand. As soon as I put it in my right hand, it feels cold.
Yeah, cold.
Okay?
Yeah.
And some people might heat up more. But when we are focusing on the right hand, that is the power. That is our intention hand. So I'll say, I need this crystal to give peace and love. So when we want to tell the crystals, this is the medicine I need you to do, we'll hold it in our right hand. So just relax and breathe and focus on the stone in your right hand. And let yourself feel it. Feel the temperature until you can feel a vibration. And I even close my eyes to see what it looks like behind. So if you do feel the vibration, then that means that the stone is accepting your energy. Your intentions of what you wanted the stone to give has been accepted. And that's what we'll use in magic. That's how we will put intention into things. So if I'm holding this and I'm focusing on my intention now of what I need my customer, or what my customer needs, I'll wait until I feel that vibration. So I want you to go through your kits this week and feel each one and think about what you want and just see what comes, even though you don't know the meaning. Okay? So right hand is your medicine is accepted into the stone. Left hand is using the natural force of the stone. And in some healings, you'll want just what the natural stone's medicine is. You'll just want to warm that baby up and keep it on that left side because that's the natural vibration you want and need. But if you need to direct it to any specific areas or person, or may say someone needs to heal their faith in the angel, so you use the angel light and you have to tell that stone, give that person the faith they need. So we can use these gemstones almost like they're a reference or medicine book and pick out the ones that we need or our people that we're healing needs. And that's like tapping into that portal of power. And some of us can get so sensitive to working with the stones that the power will go not just in the palm, but into the fingers, into your thumbs. And after you, if you put your stone down, you could probably still feel it in your palms. So if you're not feeling a stone right now, put them right out and see if you can still feel the presence of those stones. And so sometimes I'll feel a stone for a while and I'll just rub it and relax with it. And then I'll take it out of my hands just so I can see how long I can feel that power. It's awesome.
Mhm.
And what's awesome is when you get to reap the benefits each one of those stones have. Okay? So we use the crystals to amplify our visualization of our thought forms. We use it to amplify our healing abilities and to increase our energy as well as our power of thought. Crystals have the ability to store large amounts of information. And the crystals are all formed in a certain structure. And all of those structures is known as a molecular level structure. So you've seen things like the flower of life, right? Or you'll see the triangle or the square and the circle. Those are all structures of life. And each one of these crystals are made on one of those. So if these crystals will store vibrations, our thoughts, our emotions, our actions. And so when we are psychically sensitive, we can sense the stored vibration within the crystals and how it makes us feel, so we're able to use that as a tool. So in ancient times, crystals and gemstones were enchanted with ancient powers. And that is why they say that if you can feel the rhythm of its beat, then you would be known in ancient times as being a healer. It was also believed by the ancients that only one person is meant to have the stone. And that even when that person dies, those heartbeat stones, those enchanted crystals will turn black, or it would turn red. And if it was turned red, someone would sell it for a very high price. So if you are ever given a stone by anyone, that stone is known to be enchanted. And so it's good to look up why you were given that stone or see what kind of changes happen when you use a stone. So you have your quartz crystal. And the quartz crystal, we're going to get into a lot of the different meanings and stuff, but I want to give you some kind of connection before we get going on more stuff. Now, if you look at that quartz crystal, you'll see that there's inclusions in it, and you'll see that there's a little bit of white. Every once in a while, And you'll hear that people will let their crystals charge under the full moon. You want to take note on what your crystals look like because they will change. You will see structures and images, and sometimes our crystals will go super cloudy. So most of us, there's a rutilated quartz in your kit, and it looks like a quartz crystal, but it's cloudier. Okay, try to find that one. And if you look at it really closely, you'll see little gold lines in it. Okay, tiny little gold line structures. Those are known as angel hair rutiles, and it's actually real gold. Okay, so it looks like a quartz crystal, but a little cloudier. Okay, so that crystal, as you're using it, will become clearer like this. Okay, so you'll get to see how they change as you're using them. There's a green stone, that dark green stone. There's two of them. These two dark green stones are known as bloodstones, and we're going to use those for our heart chakras. And if you actually take a look at them, you might see little pieces of red. And you may see even a little bit of almost like space in between the green. Well, when we use the bloodstones up, they will no longer be green. All the green will disappear. And these are one of my most favorite stones. And they're very purifying for our path. They protect our path and they break our blocks in our path. But they also keep our blood pure, which also keeps our heart pure. So this stone will become clear. And once all of the colors go out of your stone, you're supposed to give them back to the universe. So once your stones are used, make sure you give them back to the earth, and then you'll want to replace it, of course. You used it up. So some of you might find that your crystals will change. So for you that just joined, we were just talking about the two green stones in your kit. Those are the bloodstones. And we use them for our heart chakra and among other things. I'm going to go through, whoa, my hair is like crazy. But how come you haven't told me that? It was like straight up, no. So we'll use this green, when we use the crystals up, this will go colorless. There will be no more green. And sometimes red will appear. And that's the blood of the bloodstone. So these stones are awesome. The other one that you will suck dry is, you see your amethyst, that raw piece. I love raw stones. Okay, and this is a raw piece. It's nice and soothing. So the purple will get sucked out when it's done. So this will become completely clear. And the one thing I want you to do this week with these stones is use them, and I'm going to give you a couple exercises to try. So the first exercise will be with the smoky quartz, and that's the dark crystal and the clear crystal. And pick the bigger crystal out of the pack. There's 2 quartz crystals in your pack. So just hold, and I want you to hold the dark one in your left hand. So smoky quartz will go into your left hand, and the quartz crystal will go into your right. And I want you to just take 3 to 5 minutes with them. And hold them like this. Just hold them like you're holding something. And I always hold them like right parallel to my heart. So I kind of tuck in my arms to my heart center. And I want you to do that for 3 to 5 minutes, like you're meditating. And I don't want you to meditate. I want you to actually take note on how you feel. You want to take note on how you feel before the experience of you holding them, and how you feel afterwards. Okay? Now, once you've done that 3 times, with the smoky quartz in one hand and the quartz in the other, switch them. And then put the smoky quartz in your right and the quartz in your left. But I don't want you to do it 3 times in one day. Okay? And I am going to warn you, because we are going to get into elixirs too, you can actually get stoned. Okay? When we work with crystals, you may feel certain vibrations. You may get visions, emotions, tired, more energized. So take note on how you experience with them. So I want you to do that. That is very balancing. And so whenever you're doing a crystal healing with your sessions, I always have the black smoky quartz in the left hand of the customer and the clear one in their hands. That's the first thing I do, is I put those quartz in their hands. Now they get to hold that and relax and pay attention to how it feels before I add the other ones. And that's why I want you to be able to try it 3 times each and take note on how you felt. Did your mind calm? Were you able to relax? Right? Did it feel like they're both breathing? And what those two do together is they bring you our yin and yang to a balance. So our masculine side and our feminine side gets that unity and that balance and the energy it needs. Okay? When we put the smoky quartz in our left hand, it will actually help us receive the energy we need to push out anything that's bothering us. So if we're carrying negative things, emotional things, things that are bothering us, struggles, when we hold this, we're getting that medicine to break and dispel the negative things within us. But that also includes our physical body. So sometimes when we do crystal healings for ourselves or others, they'll get diarrhea because they're getting cleaned out. Those vibrations came in, cleaned it all out, got everything activated and going. It's like popping the magic vitamin pill, right? So we get nutrients from it. Okay. So the other thing I want you to do is the one we were talking about, this amethyst, that raw piece. I want you to put that on your third eye. And actually, when you go to bed at night or when you can relax for a few minutes, just rest it on your third eye and see how it feels and what it does. Some people, it might be too much and you're like, oh my God, I can't do that. It's like feeling tense. Some, it might totally relax. Pay attention to what it does with your eyes closed. So I want you to be able to experience all of these crystals because they do have certain powers. Okay? Let's go into the first thing I want to get into is a little bit about the chakras. Because when we are working with crystals, what's happening is we are feeding into subtle energy bodies. And these energy bodies that we're feeding into are chakras. So chakras, they all have special, imagine a flower with a stem. Okay, beautiful, peony. Even though they all have different numbers of petals, the chakra has a flower and a stem. And the stems of the crown chakra and the root chakra are open. So our crown has this beautiful flower, and then there's a stem that goes down our meridian. And our root chakra's flower is upside down, and the stem is going up our meridian. So those are in a column, and then all of the other chakras go in and out. So all of our blossoms of the other 5 chakras are facing forward. and our stem goes through our body to our back. And I actually do have a photo that I'm going to send you. You'll get a manual of this first class so that you can actually see what I'm talking about, as well as the recording. But these energies run along our column. And these energies go from the top of our head, there's a portal of power, all the way through our spine. And it's actually right between our genitals and our anus. Right between those, that's where it is. The other petals of the other chakras open to our energy auric field. And that's all in front of our body. And that's why a lot of us can feel things coming in, because we're in tune with those energy fields. We can actually tell how far ahead we can feel, okay? And the stems go through our back. So they are known as psychic energies. And what they do is they have the ability to keep unwanted energy from going into our system. Their job is to protect us from unwanted energy. And they also react to the energy that's passing through. So when we receive unwanted energy, our chakras are fighting to eliminate this energy. So think about when we're we all know grumpy people. Can you imagine what their chakras are trying to do? So these petals and these chakras, they're flexible, they're opening, they're closing, they're vibrating. And they change according to the different life situations we encounter. So a healthy chakra is flexible, right? The chakras energies that become blocked become inflexible. So the more open we are to love, the more open our chakra is, the harder it is for us to feel our emotions and we're controlling them, the more inflexible they'll become. So it's important for us to pay attention to our personalities and what's coming through, because they're all connected to our chakras. And some of you have maybe learned about chakras, and some of you this may be new to, and you'll be learning a little bit more, but I don't want to just get into the chakras. I want to get into the point where you can understand that we can use the powers of the chakras to manipulate and heal the energies that we need in our auric bodies. We have 12 auric bodies, and all 12 of those auric bodies come through and process through our chakras. Each one of those auric bodies pertain to a specific area of life. And so we are able to heal certain levels, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, by understanding which auric body we need to replace these stones. So these stones all have their own energy and personality, which you'll be learning about. And when we rub them together and get them going, we're heightening that energy. Now, if this crystal is within 4 feet of my being, 4 feet of me, the vibration is automatically going to go into my auric field. Now, that doesn't mean it will pass through every single 12 auric fields, because each one of our fields, one of them might be blocked. So this energy is going to vibrate its way and try to vibrate its way through all 12 of our fields. Okay? So if I pick, say I pick this, the pink stone, which is the rose quartz, that's gentle love, self-love. So if I pick that, I can manipulate and heal the energy that is blocking me with my relationship, just by rubbing this and carrying it, because the vibration of this is the same vibration as love. So when you see this stone means money, it's because the vibration of the stone scientifically vibrates to the same vibration as money. So if we need more, love, we can use a stone that vibrates the energy of love and bring it into our system. Okay? So it's really awesome how we can do that. So I want to get a little bit more into the chakras because they do represent certain areas of our life. And when we feel healthy, when we're harmonious, when all 7 chakras are working together and we have that constant free-flowing energy, I mean, that's what we want. Our aim is to have our alignment and our balance so that they're all working for each other. We're working for ourselves in our favor. Okay? So you're also going to learn how to open, balance, and align energies that represent chakras, as well as what it takes to align yours, because you'll want to take the time and dedication for yours. You know, a chakra work is a process because it's always changing. And once we're able to achieve and know what stone balances that process that we need, we can continue to care for ourselves, to keep our chakras working in a balanced state so that we don't go into a disrupted area in our life or in our time. And it's also something that we can explain to people, well, this stone is probably going to make you feel this way. So when we're working with stones, be open to a different day. Every day is going to be different. It's going to bring new experiences. And so your energy system is going to change while you're working with these stones. You want to listen to your body, and you might just be amazed at how much you are receiving from these, you know, wonderful little minerals. So just take note on those 3 aspects. We want to take note on whether our chakras, are we open, are we closed, are we in neutral? Because those personalities are also the personalities and aspects that's happening in our life and that are also influencing our chakras. And we're able to change these states easily. It actually is harder for us to be stuck than it is in an open state. So all of our chakras always need energy. They feed off of energy. And their job is to uncover and remove what's blocking us. So if we're stuck and we feel like we're blocked for a week, that poor chakra that's connecting to that personality of whatever that block is needs energy. And now we can carry a stone, and we know within a few hours that energy is, you know, booming us, giving us what we need. Okay? The other thing is that closed chakras are chronic, and they can cause pain in our body. So it's super important to pay attention to any chronic feelings that you have been fighting and focus on those first. So the first thing that's going to happen when we work with the stones is that our blocks and our blocks of resistance to our well-being is going to be the first thing that's going to be healed. Okay? So a block is any physical condition. It's a belief, it's a feeling, a spiritual misunderstanding. It can be something that's preventing us from living or stopping us from living our purpose. This is a physical block, and it's a false mental belief. And we all have unresolved feelings or spiritual misperceptions or havoc. And each person that comes to you or is interested into your crystal healing, they need something. They need help, okay? So physical blocks can represent anything that is blocking our physical life as well as our physical body. So if someone is having trouble financially, and that's been something that's happening all their life, there is a block in one of their chakra systems. And that bloodstone might just, you know, break that curse. Okay? And some of us have reoccurring merry-go-rounds of certain things that keep reoccurring in our life. You know, like we have mental blocks. Maybe we have those beliefs that don't allow us to like get out there. They cripple us. These can help mental blocks. We don't have to try to go through, you know, this process of changing our mind. We get to just carry something and see what happens. And spiritual blocks, they're always something we're trying to fight because there are misperceptions about the universe. There are misperceptions of our place in it. We're so limiting. We limit ourselves. We have infinite power. So spiritual blocks can actually underlie in any issue. Any issue we have in life, there could be a spiritual block. So our spiritual self is constantly attempting to bring our body, mind, and spirit into an understanding and a connection to the universal forces. So when we understand our spirit self, we are actually living our purpose. So these stones will actually help us so that we don't have these spiritual blocks. Okay? So one thing I want you to focus on this week until we meet again is finding your problem areas, because we're going to deal with the dirty first. And then we're going to go into our feelings and values and start to manifest those. Okay? So where am I? So let's get to some of the stones I want you to do. So we did the smoky quartz and the amethyst. So amethyst, I told you to put on your third eye, and you're going to have 2 amethysts. You're actually going to have that raw piece, and then you're going to see a little cluster, and it's a cute little cluster. Okay, so these 2 can both represent the crown chakra. Okay, and when I told you to lay with it on your third eye, but you can also, and the reason why you have 2 is because we want to have them beside the crown chakra. So there's going to be 2 different ways you can do healings. You can place the stones on the actual body, or you can do an outline. And I'll send you a picture so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so if the person that you're healing is laying down, you'll have a chakra stone here and a chakra stone here, all the way down the body. So you'll find that there's 2 stones to represent the 7 chakras. So each 7 chakra has 2 stones the same. Okay. So first you'll have the red jaspers, these little red ones. These are going to represent your root chakra. I love these red jaspers. They are also another stone. They're not very big, but they are a very good stone for root chakras. And for me, when my root chakra is out of whack, I want to munch. I overeat, I crave sugar, I don't want to have sex. Maybe I want to have sex every night. So our root chakra can put us out of whack, and we'll get into that more next class. So for your root chakras, I do want you to put them on each side of your hip. So lay in your bed and put one on each side of your hip. Okay? The one above the root chakra is the solar plexus, and you'll see they're little round orange stones. There's 2 of them. And that solar plexus, you want to focus just under your belly button. And I actually go about 2 fingers below my belly button. Okay? And this represents a lot of intuitive power. Okay? So we have our stability and how we feel, and then we have our subconscious mind is connected to our sacral. So sacral holds wisdom for us. And magically, we believe that that's where we channel our ancestors' energies and messages from, is the sacral. And we'll get into more about each of these powers. So I want you to either put this on you're just below your navel, 2 fingers below your navel, on your body or on the sides, okay? And those go above the root. So now we go 3 fingers above the belly button. And I do have a picture I'll send you all. And that is the solar plexus. And you'll see 2 citrines, so yellow looking crystals, okay? Solar plexus is awesome. There's a lot of power in it. And that one is actually known to be a bit of its own intuitive mind. So we'll get into that a bit too and how it works. And it's really easy for intuitive people to have that become overactive, okay? It's a powerful gateway. And so when we use the citrines will remove anything that is, how do I say that? It can't allow anything negative. So when we put this in that place, that portal of power, we get activated, and anything that is negative comes out as if it's almost like a magnet pulling it out. So the citrine's awesome. It is one of the only stones besides kyanite, which you also have a little blue one. These 2 stones together cannot obtain any negative energy. It's very impossible. So when people have high stress or they have a really tough time relaxing their mind, the citrine stone is the one that will help them relax their mind. So I want you to try to put, even though it's a solar plexus stone, I do want you to try to put the citrine on your 3rd eye, okay? And really see how it affects you. If I find it's just too much and I feel tense anywhere here, the citrine will go on. It's amazing. And you will suck this dry or it'll go really cloudy. Okay, so I want you to play with the citrine for this week as well. So when you're doing, I'm going to just keep you going to the citrine. So we're going to do the black and white crystal in our palms. And then you're going to do the 3rd eye with the amethyst. You're going to put the 2 red jaspers on your hips, by the side of your hips. And they can be like, say this is my head is my hip. They can be about this distance. Okay? So anywhere within 6 inches. Okay? And one of the reasons why I want you to start with the red jasper and to go is because when we do our healings, you always want to start with the root chakra. You want to plant them into the earth. You don't want to start with their head and just have all their energy flip over as if they're doing a somersault, okay? So that first red jasper is actually going to have an effect on your first auric layer. So our root chakra is connected to the first light body, which is the first auric body. And that aura is actually known as the aura that protects us from life energies. Okay? So it protects us from life energies. So for me, I hate heights. And whenever I'm around heights, I'm like, get all jiggly. I pushed the emergency button on the Ferris wheel at Niagara Falls, and I still don't live that down. My son was so mad. And it was like $60 a person. So that is a protective energy and a fear that I hold in my first auric body. Okay? So think about what protection do you hold against the life force that you've lived. Maybe it's a protection. I know I hold protection against abuse, right? Or, you know, we hold certain protections we won't allow, or we carry them and they are triggers. So if we are carrying triggers that are affecting our security, that has to do with the root chakra. So if someone experienced something traumatic, we would want to give them the energy they need to balance that out and heal them. Okay? And usually they need the energy, it's not overactive. Okay? If it was an overactive energy, then it would be, you know, overindulgence and addicted to alcohol, like we could get addicted to things. Okay? If it's overactive, addictions come in. So think about that protection and recognize, 'cause I don't want you to really peer at people in a negative way. But if you actually see something, you know, someone's protecting themselves from love, you're going to understand that that's an auric body that's damaged and needs energy. Okay? So we have the carnelian, those round orange ones I just told you about. They're the lighter orange. I love those stones. They will become clear once you use up the medicine. And they're very good for strength and courage. So even if you feel like sometimes you want to say something, you don't have the courage to really say it, the carnelian is great. It will help you find the wisdom and way to do it. And so that solar, or not this sacral chakra that is going to represent those two carnelian stones also is the portal of power to your second auric layer. So the first aura is usually 2 inches from the body. So if you can put your red jaspers within 2 inches of your hips, you're going to put them into that first aura. Now, to me, red jasper is a magical protection. So I will use that stone and I can put it in all of the energy bodies and the auric fields that I need protection in. So you can use these stones for different purposes. Okay? So the second auric body is what screens our feelings and our emotions. You would think screens our feelings and emotions, wouldn't that be the heart chakra? Well, wait till we get to that one. But the carnelian will heal the second aura and put it into a place of alignment. So whatever you feel, that portal of power and that feeling is not just heart chakra, it has to do with your solar plexus or sacral. Oh, what's with the solar? I don't want to go there. So the sacral is our emotions. So if we feel out of whack, or we're too emotional, or maybe we've been disconnected from feeling, or you haven't felt, you know, in love, that's the auric body to put that stone in and carry. It needs energy. That's it. You just need energy. Especially with people who have had a broken heart. I always find people that had an ugly situation and they're in that place where they have experienced something traumatic, and sometimes it's not even relationship, right? It could be anything that affected our emotions. That we need to put that energy into that body. The second aura is 4 to 6 inches from you. So just as you can see my little diagram, which you're going to get a copy of too, okay? You can see all those lines. We're more light bodies than we are a physical being. And each one of these auras I'm talking about, they have their own way of thinking. So we're a matrix of amazement. I love it. So focus on putting that carnelian 2 to 4 inches from your body, and then pay attention to how you feel or what pops into your mind. And do these all separately, okay? So you're not doing them together. And I'm almost done tonight. We're doing the citrine too, right? So the citrine are the yellow crystals. That's the one I told you to also try on your third eye. Oh, it's one of my favorites for that. But this crystal is actually really good for the solar plexus, the one that I'm obviously tripping about. So the solar plexus is connected to our third auric body. So our third auric body is the energy that filters our ideas and our belief systems. Okay? So right now, I'm filtering my ideas and beliefs. That's activated in my life because I just can't get rid of that solar plexus energy. So when we take a look at our days, we can find out which energy body was ruling our day. Okay? So before I stop, I'm going to read these out quickly to you, even though you'll get a copy and we're getting more into it next class, okay? So your first aura is 2 inches from your body, up to 2 inches. It's the protection of your life energies, okay? The second aura is 2 to 4 inches from your body, and that represents your feelings and emotions. Then we go to the third. So now we're at 2, 4, 6, right? So about 6 inches from your body, that filters your ideas and your beliefs, okay? So if you don't have faith in yourself, that's the one you want to heal, okay? The fourth auric body represents our heart chakra, okay? And that is the one that actually attracts or repels relationships. So you can see those that, I don't want to ever be with anyone, I'm done. They might need a little bit of energy in that chakra area, right? They want some balance and some healing and some activation. So the fourth represents how we are with our relationships, and certain people will trigger that auric body differently, right? The fifth aura attracts and repels our guidance, okay? So we're looking at 8 to 10 inches from our body, and it shows that, you know, are you receiving guidance or are you blocked from receiving guidance? Well, just carrying a stone that will help with that vibration, and we'll get into the vibrations of each one of those, will actually bring us more guidance, okay? The sixth auric body represents our choices. So whenever we make a choice, whether it's a good choice or a bad choice, it actually has an effect on us. Our aura responds, and so does the whole vibration of our energy, okay? The seventh auric body connects with spirits. That's my favorite. So when you hear that, some of you may have heard that I have to heighten myself. When we heighten ourselves, we become a light bulb to the spirits, right? Well, we have to heighten ourselves so that we're connecting to that seventh auric layer. And when we connect to that seventh layer, it's also connected to the Akashic records, to the spirit realms. And so for us to have more intuition, we actually just need to make sure that seventh auric body, which is what, 14 inches away from us, so just over 2 feet, is getting energy and keeping us at that higher pace. Okay? So it connects with spirits, and it also, that's where we broadcast what we want. So when we practice full moon magic, and it's all about our intentions and what we're trying to manifest, the ears of the universe are actually living within that seventh auric body. And we don't have to try to hit another dimension or go through, you know, universes. It's right within our body. It's awesome. The eighth auric layer represents our karma. and it absorbs the powers of what we give and receive. And that's one of the reasons why it's good. You know, some people receive better luck than others. Well, that energy is the 8th auric body. So it is further away from us, but more connected to that outer world that we live in. And so that energy is a doorway, the first layer of everything we already talked about. So if we're walking around creating bad energy, what's happening to all of the layers within inside of that? They get affected. They start to starve. And when we are starving that auric body or energy, that 2 inches becomes, 2 centimeters. It's like all our light bodies become dehydrated. And when we die, we don't have an aura. Our light's gone. So we want to pay attention to these aspects of our life, right? I'm not trying to creep you out, but if I go on an airplane, I make sure I see everybody's aura. I need to see their light. And then I ask Brett, and then I ask my son. Because if I don't see a light, I'm not going on that plane. That light around us is our life force. Okay? And I actually want you to practice seeing your light. If you are brushing your teeth in the morning and getting ready, look right here in the mirror and then move your head a little bit and see if you can see your glow. Because wherever you see your glow, that white shine that you have that's right there will represent what auric body is in power. And you can see it around people too. So the 8th is our karmic power. Our 9th auric body, so we're going 18 inches, every 2 inches, connects with others based on our soul issues. So our perception of people, how we judge people, that's a whole light body of its own. I love it. And that's our 9th auric body. So again, one of the outer world ones, right? We check them out before we let them in. That actually happens. The 10th auric body is what mirrors our belief. So our 10th auric body in many cultures is known as our second self. So a lot of people will treat that auric body as if it's our higher self. Okay? So it will mirror what we actually are. And it mirrors what's authentic. It doesn't mirror falsehood. Okay? So it will mirror what we really believe in. And that's why you want to make sure when you believe in what you're getting, there's power behind it. Now, our 11th aura is actually what commands our will. So when we want something to happen, when we're praying for something to happen, when we're doing our intentions and putting our will there and all of our wills going into something, it's actually going into a portal of power. It's our 11th aura, and it wants to command, it wants to do what you want it to. So if all of our energies are, balanced and good working order, we have more power connected to that one. And our last one is the 12th auric body. Actually, there's actually a couple more that you can connect to, but they're not of our own. Once our auric body is finished, we then go into the earth realm's auric body. So the 12th auric body, if you look at my little photograph here, which you will get, see how thick that is? It's a thick cord looking thing. And it's actually known as the auric egg because it does have, scientifically, they've been able to see the border of that. All of the other ones, they don't really have a border. They're just an energy that kind of meshes like a mist. But the 12th one is an actual border. And it connects us to our higher self. So that golden auric egg is known in many cultures as our psychic self, our higher self. Okay. And that is the one that's, what did I say? We're at the 12th aura, so 24 feet, 24 inches. That's 2 feet from us, right? And we can expand our aura to 10. So I'm going to end there. But that was lots. And you'll get a copy of this audio once it's finished, so you can re-listen to it. I'm going to send you the manual as well, and you can go over the manual. The manual will have the crystals and what they mean, but we'll be covering that next class too, okay? And I also have a picture of the chakras and all that. So I'll message you all. I want to put together a group so that when we're doing our healing exercises, because you'll be practicing on yourself and you can practice on other people too, to see what they think, we can all share and do this homework together, okay? But before we go, I always like to pull a card to see what we're attracting. All of us healers getting activated. So rub your stones, get them all connected to that pyroelectricity, and then use them. So next class we'll get into more laying on stones, but also making the elixirs. I'm going to get you to try certain stones and do more layouts. Okay, so what do we get until we meet again? This is the card, just so you can see it. So when I merge my desire with faith, I can take action from a place of peace rather than control. And that's the one thing, is you don't want to be in a place of control. The more connected we are, the more natural we become. The more authentic. Our power, healing power, is in the authenticity of wanting it and wanting to do it. Okay? So play with your gemstones. See which one you're drawn to. I'll post all this stuff, get us all connected, and we'll see you next week, okay? Now, before I go, if anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute or ask me. Does anyone have any questions?
So you said that our hands-on, we can't do crystal healing through distance?
Yes, you could. Definitely
Okay.
you can. Yep.
Okay.
I'll teach you how to do that as well. It's very simple. And that's one thing that is cool, because there's so many different ways to do them. By the time you're finished this class, you'll know how to do a full session in person or online. Okay? And I'll talk prices and all that, so that you know kind of how it works, and so that it resonates with you. Okay? So do your homework. You're allowed to get stoned naturally with this. It's so horrible. But you know what? I had to get it out, and we're going to be drinking elixir soon. And I want you to be open to experiencing what that medicine is. Some of my greatest memories are people that made, elixirs and tried this. This is for your expression, and seeing how it works. So I'm really excited to get you healing. Your hands might start getting red and itchy, ready to do it. So play with your crystals. If you experience all of them by the time we meet, take notes on how they made you feel. You may be surprised how well you connected with them before you even get the meanings of them. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy. Good night, all.
Night.
Bye-bye.